Now we're going to talk about variables and constants. So let me make some space here. Line. So this side will be for variables. This side will be for constants. Now both of them have the similarities and differences. Now let's deal with a variable. What's a variable? Now in IT, a variable refers to a location in memory whose value can change during processing, while a constant is a location in memory whose value is fixed, meaning it never changes during processing. Okay, so value can change during processing, with a constant, the value never changes. Alright, so that's the main thing you need to keep in mind when we're talking about variables and constants. Now, when trying to understand how variables and constants work, I like to use containers. I like to think of them as containers when I'm teaching it. So let's draw a simple container here. Good. Now in your home you may have multiple containers. Some person put sugar, salt, etc. in different containers. Often women like to keep their kitchen looking, how to put it, unified. So you normally find similar looking containers or containers that belong to a set. Now, how is it that you would identify what's in these containers? Well, normally we use what is called a label. Right? Now, when we deal with variables, we also give them labels by the use of variable names. Good? So I'm going to name this variable num1. Now what these containers do, these containers hold values. Okay? So I can put the value 17 inside of num1. Now what you need to keep in mind is that a variable can only hold one value at a time. Alright? So if I put the number 17 inside there, I can go and squeeze in 15 inside of that same variable name. What will happen is that I can remove 17 and replace it with 15. So num1 would no longer be 17, but it is now 15. I can change it. However, with a constant on this side, it's different. I cannot change a constant and give it a new value. It is not possible. Alright? Now, when you are naming variables and constants, there are certain rules you must keep in mind. There are certain rules for naming variables and constants. And we're going to look at them. Rules for naming variables and constants. Rule number 1, it should be descriptive. What do I mean by that? Now, I would suggest that you always give a variable a name related to what is going to store. Alright? Next, must begin with a letter. Must begin with a letter. Next, It can contain both letters and numbers. It can contain both letters and numbers. Right? However, it must begin with a letter. So earlier I had num1. So I have letters and a number. However, I can't do something like this. It's not possible because I must begin with a letter at all times. Okay? Next, it cannot contain a space. It cannot contain a space. For example, if I have a variable that is going to store the name of the youngest student in the class. So I have a variable and it's going to store the name of the youngest student in the class. So let's say the youngest student in the class name is John. Now I cannot name this variable youngest space student. Is not possible. However, what you can do is to place an underscore to separate these two. So though this is not acceptable, you can do this. Underscore student. Alright? Five, it can contain an underscore. An underscore what I just showed you there. 6, it can contain both uppercase and lowercase. And lowercase. And the last one, they must be consistent throughout your algorithm. Alright? Okay. So these are the rules you need to keep in mind when dealing with variables and when you are naming them. Now the two mistakes that people usually make, this one. Number 2 and number 4, you usually find students making these two mistakes. One of the two or sometimes a combination of both. Alright? So please keep these two especially in mind.